Do you remember the first time that you felt 100% passionate about achieving something? I do. It was when my older sister, Sophia, challenged me to play Superman. I was about 7 years old, and the idea was to hang upside down our bunk beds and see who would hold on longer. Of course, I win. But to win also meant to be the Superman falling kid with almost 2 broken wrists. How do you reconcile your passion and your profession in your life? How do you feel when your passion and your occupation seems to live in 2 different places? Have you found a way to combine both your passion and your work? Today, I want to share with you all my journey on trying to make my passion and my profession work together and the lessons I learned from it. As far as I can remember, whenever I was 3 years old, I already had skis under my feet. And my family and I would go water ski and snow ski every weekend. And I would play tennis on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I would play golf on Wednesday, and I would also take some English lessons. So hopefully today you understand me. Otherwise, it's going to be a long 15 minutes. So I enjoyed every second of it. But what I loved the most was the moments with my family and friends. The sharing and the challenging each other to become better and to putting our 100% on what we were doing and celebrating the little victories. And I loved every second of it. I also loved cake. So I started competing as a snow ski and water ski athlete whenever I was 8 years old, and by the time I was 14, I became under 14 Spanish national champion in both sports. And thanks to my family and my big commitment to my passion that helped me reach big goals in sports, such as 11-time Spanish national water ski champion, 3 national records still remaining today, and 16 international medals. Meanwhile, at home, studies were always the priority. So if my grades were not good, I would not go to international tournaments. So by the time the university came, I knew that in order to do what I wanted, I had to study a major degree. So I decided to study dentistry. It would allow me to pay and have the freedom to train as much as I wanted water ski. And also I would have a place to work after I finish my sports career, as my dad is a dentist with his own dental practice. Unfortunately, I didn't realize how demanding it would be to do a professional sport and such a demanding university degree. And unfortunately, I also think I still thought I was Superwoman. Because I had to study so much, my sports achievement started dropping, and I barely had social life. Can some of you understand what I mean? I think so. But I kept going at it, hoping that one day I will reach to the point I wanted. Eventually, it came to a point where I was mentally and physically exhausted. So on August 2009, I traveled from competing in Taiwan to Canada for the World Water Ski Championship. And with only 2 hours of sleep and a big jet lag, I decided to train. After all, being exhausted was my natural state. And as I can see some of your faces, I can see it's your natural state too. I decided to train jump. Jump is the most dangerous discipline in water ski, and it's considered a high-risk sport. This is me in Sweden. And then I went for the first failed attempt, and then I decided to go for the second jump. I was zigzagging behind the boat, doing cuts, in trying to generate as much speed and angle, knowing that once I hit the ramp, I would be flying over 100 kilometers per hour. And right there, crossing the waves in front of the jump, I had a blackout. I crashed myself against the ramp. Several days in the hospital under morphine. Morphine helped. I was sitting by my dad's side when doctors gave me the news. I had broken my leg in 8 different places. And doctors explained me that I was lucky not to have a permanent disability from knee down. But they didn't know if I would ever run or do any kind of sport ever in my life. While listening to these words, I felt a big compression in my chest, a huge weight in my shoulders. I wanted to throw up. Sports was everything in my life. My sports career was dead. Even though I had physically recovered, I could no longer compete in a professional level I wanted. I could no longer do the jump. And since I decided to study my career because that would give me the money to pay my career and I would have the support of my family, now that I could no longer train at the professional level I wanted, my career had no sense anymore. Even though my family and friends suggest me the best thing I should do was to continue my studies. And I was already in my 3rd year. I was lost. After my accident, I was depressed. I could not connect with my heart. I had no strength to take my own choices. So I decided to do what I thought others expect me to do, what it was the most acceptable. I finished the 2 last years of dentistry, and I became a dentist. I was empty, with no drive. I didn't know what to do with my life. What would you do? I knew I needed to change. So I did the smartest thing you can do: travel. So I applied to all the French islands around the world to work as a dentist, because it's European territory, and I knew that then I could fly to all the countries nearby. And then in July 2012, I arrived in St. Martin. Anyone here from the Caribbean islands? No? Very nice islands. So I started earning very good my life, and I could start doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, without anybody to tell me what to do, when to do it. It felt so good. So I decided to stay for a while. And only 6 months after, I got this amazing opportunity to buy my own dental clinic. I thought, wow, this is an amazing opportunity to learn about the business, and that will open my doors the day I decide not to be a dentist anymore in my future. So I went ahead and I bought my dental clinic. At 25 years old, I felt I was rapidly advancing in life. It felt amazing for a while, but it didn't last long. After all, I had invested in a profession I did not like. Plus, I was far from my friends and family, and I learned the hard way that being a single business owner in that island had its real dangers. All in all, I was very disconnected from my true self. So one night, I ended up crying in the floor of my apartment. I was desperate and alone. I felt my life had no real direction. So right there, in the floor of my apartment, I understood that if I didn't change, nobody would change for me. I understood I had to reconnect with my true self and to understand why everything started. I had to reconnect with the why of my passion in order to understand my purpose. So I started to remember when I was happy. And then I started to remember being with my family at the lake and my friends and my teammates and sharing with my teammates. And I realized it was not the winning or the sport. It was the cheering for each other. It was encouraging ourselves to be better, on putting our hearts 100% on what we were doing. And right there, in the floor of my apartment, I found my purpose, and I decided to change. But it's easier said than done. How could I change in that island if I already had a 5-year loan for my business? It wasn't easier neither to find a dentist to buy my clinic. All I could do is work as hard as I could and start moving towards my purpose. So even though I was tight in that tiny island, I applied for psychology courses online, and I also enrolled myself in a coaching school, which meant to travel almost every month to Spain. After 2 years, I returned the loan to the bank, and my bank account was at its zeros. It meant I only had to earn money to go back home. And then something happened. One night in my apartment, instead of asking myself, why all this happened to me? Why I'm broke, alone in this island? Why all these things happened to me? Why the accident? Why? Then I did something different. I thank life, I thank the universe, I thank God for having whatever I had at that moment. And most important, for now knowing my purpose in life. The day after, I went to my clinic, and there was a dentist waiting for me. And guess what? He bought my clinic. Like magic, I could now return home. Today, I'm a professional coach. And ever since I've been back, I have invested all my money and energy in my coaching business. And it doesn't matter how many hours I have to work, how many effort I have to put, how many sacrifice, because everything I do with purpose. Before my accident, you see, I thought that my purpose was my passion. What is key? But passion can come and go, and life can certainly take out from you. That night in my apartment, I learned that what I really love, it was the sharing these moments with my family, the putting our 100%, our hearts to what we were doing, on cheering to be our best. And those were the values that were the fuel of my purpose. And that's why I was so passionate about it. And after my accident, I did the whole opposite, and I learned the hard way that profession only, even with big rewards, it's not enough. Will not fulfill our purpose. We need more. In order to combine our passion and our profession, we need to live up to the values that fill up our passion. My purpose is to impact as many people to become their best by helping them to connect with their heart and encouraging them give their 100% on their path to their purpose. What I ask you today is to identify and to live up by the values that fulfill your passion. Those are the ones that will show you the way towards your purpose in life. I understood that it's okay not to be a superwoman. It's okay not to do what others expect you to do. All we need to do is to connect with our hearts and live a life full of purpose by honoring the values of our passion. Thank you.